Hi, just want to share a little bit of information with you about the strategic management paper. This paper is going to be long. It's probably going to be 35 to 45 pages long, but rather than have you complete it at the end of the semester, we work on it in segments. The first task that you need to perform in order to work towards this is to identify your company. Several of you have already identified the company you're going to be focusing on. That is the first assignment. Now remember, we need the company. It needs to be publicly traded, so we're going to need the stock symbol, and that has to be on a U.S. market like Wall Street or NASDAQ, the New York Stock Exchange, excuse me, or NASDAQ. But then you're also going to need to identify both the sector and the industry. This is going to be critical so that you can find external factors involving political, economic, social, demographic, and technological external forces that are affecting the whole industry. So make sure you provide that information as well. A few other things I want to say is that for every unit in which a component is required, like you'll have several different phases. Phase 1 is your history about the company, a lot about maybe its foundation, what its marketing position is, interesting factors, external and internal, that have affected the company. So that'll be phase 1. And then phase 2 is an external evaluation. Phase 3 is an internal evaluation. Phase 4 is strategy formulation. And then phase 5 is you take what you've already done and you put them all together. So if you handle each of the first 4 phases effectively, that last phase is just compiling all the work that you've done. I want to point out though, like I said, there's some tips. So for each unit in which a phase is required, make sure that you look at the strategic management tips. You can find this right in Schoology, and I'm just going to go over a few that really need to be emphasized. Number 1, make sure that phase 1 through the end has a cover page. There's information on doing that. Everything should be double spaced with a 12-point font. Make sure that you never write in first or second person. In other words, no use of I, we, us, you, your. So that gets a lot of students for the first few because maybe you haven't done a formal paper that needs to be in APA format. Speaking of which, there's great tools in Microsoft Word, and I have a video embedded in each unit that shows you how to use the APA tools for citations and references. If I receive a paper, phase 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, where you compile them in 5, and it's not in APA, I will just send that right back to you for your completion. I would encourage you to do phase 1 and do everything that's required. And then for phase 2, your external evaluation, go to the end of your phase 1, right before you get to your reference page, and start your phase 2 there. So you'll have a heading that says external factor evaluation, because then you can continue to add your citations and your references, and your works cited page is going to update automatically. If students do them in 5 or 4 separate documents, the works cited is going to have to be merged at the end, and that's going to take hours and hours and hours. So one document and just keep adding on to it. So make sure, again, you review all these strategic management tips, and it has to be in APA format or it's going to get sent right back to you. But there are a lot of other strategic management product tips I want you to take a look at on that sheet. You can also see that the planning project, there's a document about that as you're being introduced to this course, and they're introduced by phases. For instance, the cover page, yes, you're going to do that not for your company selection, but for every other page you should have that cover page. And then the executive summary, it's the next item on the planning project list, but that, be careful, is not going to be done until phase 5. It's just that it's going to appear right after the cover page when you compile everything. So, you're in an online course, you chose to be in that online course, so you want to make sure that you read carefully. I'm also going to be supplementing the reading with just these quick little videos to help you through this. You let me know if you have questions always. Again, Leslie will be doing the daily work, and I'll be all things strategic management project. One more thing before I end this video is when you see these videos, make sure you go through them, because they will save you countless questions and time trying to rework. So watch these videos. They'll help you get started with the external factors and the internal. They'll get you kind of thinking about some of the factors that will work for your industry, and some will work for all of our industries that we choose. Another thing that is imperative is that you go through the PowerPoints, because I've embedded a lot of just quick little videos that show real external factors or internal factors that you just click on. They're just a couple minutes long, but they're going to be very helpful for you understanding this material. So good luck. Thanks for choosing us. And this is I know it's a daunting project, this APA thing, but remember, your performance, your ability to be successful in this course isn't dependent on quizzes and tests. So you'll have no quizzes and tests. It's focusing on learning the material and applying all that material in a phase of your strategic management project. So good luck. Keep the communication open and let me know if you have questions. Thanks much. Bye-bye.